You check the time, and it's the same sequence again. You see it on license plates, receipts, phone numbers, and dates. At first, you brush it off, but when it keeps happening, you start to wonder, are these numbers really random, or are they trying to tell us something? If you're curious, like and subscribe for more. Humans are surrounded by numbers. We use them to measure time, money, distance, and probability. So it's easy to assume that repeating numbers are nothing more than coincidence. But some sequences appear with such frequency that people across cultures report noticing the same patterns, often at meaningful moments in their lives. Psychologists explain this phenomenon through pattern recognition. The human brain evolved to detect structure in chaos. It's why we see faces in clouds and meaning in randomness. Once a number becomes personally significant, the brain pays closer attention to it. This is called the frequency illusion, when something suddenly seems to appear everywhere simply because you're noticing it more. But critics of this explanation argue that it doesn't fully account for why the same sequences appear independently to so many people, especially during pivotal moments. Births, losses, decisions, turning points. The timing feels too precise, too aligned. Mathematically, true randomness is rare. Even random systems produce patterns. Given enough data, repetition is inevitable. But the question isn't whether repetition can occur. It's whether certain numbers appear more often than probability alone would predict. In nature, numbers are everywhere. The structure of plants, shells, storms, and galaxies often follow mathematical ratios. These patterns aren't imposed, they emerge naturally. To some, this suggests that reality itself is built on numerical frameworks. If the universe speaks, it may speak in math. Philosophers and mystics have long believed numbers carry meaning beyond measurement. They argued that numbers describe the hidden order of reality, not just its surface. In this view, repeating numbers aren't messages sent to individuals, but reflections of an underlying structure we occasionally glimpse. Others believe repeating numbers may be a side effect of how time and consciousness interact. If moments aren't as linear as we experience them, then patterns could surface when awareness briefly aligns with deeper processes, not a signal from outside, but an echo from within. Skeptics remain unconvinced. They point out that memory is selective. We remember the hits and forget the misses. We assign meaning after the fact, and once a number gains importance, every appearance reinforces the belief. Still, the experience remains powerful. When people encounter repeating numbers during emotional or transformative moments, it leaves an impression. Not because the numbers change reality, but because they mark moments of heightened awareness. So are numbers that appear too often to be random a cosmic signal, a trick of the mind, or evidence that reality is more patterned than we're taught to believe? Perhaps the numbers aren't speaking to us at all. Perhaps they're reminding us to pay attention, not to the digits themselves, but to the moment we're in when we notice them. Because sometimes the meaning isn't in the number, but in the awareness it creates.